What's up, guys? It's Missy. I'm back with another SimCity Build It video. Last video I recorded, which was yesterday, I noticed that my mic was like hella messed up, so I apologize if it was difficult for you guys to hear me. Hopefully what I've done today has fixed it. I have those, they're like Battle Royale headphones, and they have a plug-in mic on the end of the earpiece. And I took that plug-in mic off because it's been having issues on some of the other games that I play. So I went ahead and removed that. So hopefully you guys can hear me better. If not, I will try to fix it and get new headphones. So on this video, I wanted to talk about my city, how it's built, why I built it the way that I did, and some other ideas that you guys can do. I used to have a ton of screenshots in my phone of other people's cities that I thought were cool that I could take ideas from. So that is one thing that I do recommend that you do. If you see something maybe on global, you're like searching around or whatever, take a screenshot and kind of look at what that person has done. And I mean, I wouldn't copy it to a T, but you know, you can get some general ideas. Like one of the things that a lot of people do, and I wish that SimCity would give us some better buildings, you know, because like the Space Needle would be cool. I'm from Washington, so I'm all about that. But there's a lot of like detail in this game that's really cool, but it's super small detail that you have to zoom in to notice. And some of you may notice that on other people's games, you see traffic and lights and things like that, where you actually can see like these traffic lights and the cars are moving. Some people's phones, for whatever reason, do not have the most current JavaScript or whatever. For whatever reason, it's not working on that device, and they either update it or they reinstall the game, or they get a different phone and they're like, oh my God, I didn't know the game did this. I had a friend of mine actually that was just in awe. He's like, dude, see the new update? It's like, no, dude, it's always been that way. So if you're one of those people that's missing out and you're noticing that on other people's games that they have all these, you know, things, that's why, because your phone's probably just a POS. Or you just don't have like whatever recent JavaScript is needed to run it. I actually had a LG phone, Stylo 4, and it, for whatever reason, would not run this game. Now, it should run the game due to, you know, specifications, because my Stylo 3 did, but I would go through the tutorial, everything would be fine, and it would crash. I tried getting a new phone, nope. So I actually went with the Moto G7, and I haven't had any of the issues that I had on my LGs. All three of my LGs, this game would always crash. So if you have an LG, this game does not like that operating system for whatever reason. But anyway, I'm blabbing about phones now. So as you've noticed, if you've watched any of my videos, a lot of my videos, I show my main capital map. Now, right here, these are my factories. And the reason that I have my factories set up the way that I do is because when I first built my city, I started working on my city before I had my entire map unlocked, which I'd recommend doing that actually, because it's really, really hard to, at least for me, it's really hard to envision what you want to build all at once, especially when you don't have all the buildings and they're constantly coming out with new ones, and you're going to constantly be changing your city around. Like the gist of my city has remained the same, but I am constantly rotating out buildings and water and trees and stuff like that. So don't think that, oh, cool, I got it where I want it. It's going to be that way forever. No, because you're going to constantly be rotating stuff around. It's going to take forever. But if that's kind of why you play the game, right? To enjoy building. So I put my factories along the very front of my city. The reason I did this is because it's right next to my global HQ and my depot. I like the fact that I can see everything all done at once, and they're right behind my shops. So I don't have to go clear over here to drop a chair down and go clear over here to see if my seeds are done, and then go way back over here. You know what I mean? That's So, me being the lazy person that I am, I put all of them in one spot, nice and organized where I can see it. Now, I also put my Omega canisters right up front as well. Then I put my taxes and any other government buildings, things like this, off to the right. Now, as I unlocked my map, because when I first started, my city was god-awful, okay? It looks like a drunk person designed it. I had roads running into houses and houses that weren't attached to things. It was terrible. And I sat down one night because it was the first war, actually, that the game had come out with. And there was a glitch with the game where if you left the club that you were in and rejoined, it would give you the war rewards that you had earned over and over. So we sat there for 48 hours going in and out of the club, and we were able to obtain like 900 plat keys, tons of gold keys, money. I mean, I had like 400 gold tokens. So I used that big chunk of funding to fund designing my city. Now, I wish I would have known everything I know now about the game, because a lot of it did go to waste. I just kind of blew through tokens like they were nothing. I wasn't making the right items. I actually used the rebuilding technique when I built my city, which I'll explain that in another video, and I don't recommend that you do what I did, but I mean, everybody wants to do their own thing, that's fine. Anyway, I decided that I wanted like a main waterfront, so I built the Eiffel Tower here, or is that what that is? I think that's what that is. Yeah, the Eiffel Tower. I used to have the Tokyo Tower there, but I didn't like the red look to it. And I've rotated these buildings out several times. I used to have the other castle, this castle here, I used to have that one, but I kind of like this one being, the center. Now, before all this right here, this river that runs straight to the back, this all used to be Omega. And I actually bulldozed it. I know I'm crazy, but I got sick of looking at it. I couldn't store it, and I really wanted just more water, and that was when they came out with the new trees and stuff. So I bulldozed all my Omega. So right here where this building, which a lot of you are not going to be able to obtain these buildings, because if you don't already have them, because they were contest of mayors rewards. Same with like this. So if you have them, great. If you don't, I'm sorry. The new buildings kind of suck. Hopefully they get some better ones out. But anyway, so from this right here and way over to here, all the way back to here, this was all Omega. Okay. Now, I used to have a bunch of London and Tokyo and stuff like this kind of scattered throughout, which I ended up bulldozing all of that and turning them all into gold epics. I would make sure that you have an idea of what kind of homes you want to build, so you don't make the mistake that I did. And don't overpopulate yourself too quickly and think that you have to keep those homes. Okay, if you don't like something, get rid of it. But if you've done an epic, I wouldn't recommend bulldozing it. Maybe a bronze, possibly silver, but I can't bulldoze a gold. That's just too much. Now, because I had done a lot of landmark gold epics, I was stuck with all these tall buildings. Now, if you've noticed when you're playing your game, it's actually difficult to see the buildings that you have when they're very tall and they're kind of stuffed in between everything. So I chose to put all my tall buildings along the very back of my city. Now, in doing this, I have a downfall though, because I can't see any of my mountain. You can't really see any of it. So I left little spots in the mountain area where, like, I had the waterfall and it cuts through, and the river that kind of goes into the bigger body of water. I knew that was something that I wanted, so even though I didn't have enough plat keys to purchase that, I left that space open because that was something I knew for sure that I was going to do. A lot of people will do the end of the river with the beach here, how it kind of looks like water. You'll see that quite a bit in people's cities. These are very expensive buildings, though. So, I mean, they're like 120 flat keys. They're kind of hard to get. I recommend that you don't, how do I put this? Don't be afraid to constantly move stuff around and see what you like. For example, like everything in my city I have spent hours in little chunks of the part of my city. Like no part of my city did I just throw it half-assed together and walk away from it. I spent hours on each little section. Like this little section here, I have the Valentine's Day display. I actually have the angel, shooting the bush. I specifically positioned it that way. A lot of cities, what I notice people will do is they will just put the city together all half-assed, and they will leave the buildings facing any direction. And you actually have to turn the thing to see what it is that they were trying to go for, like what looked good to them at that time. In my city, I specifically chose to make everything face one way. So if you're looking at my city, this is the direction in which you should be looking at it. Yes, it looks cool if I go like this. It looks like a totally different city, though. Look at that. It looks pretty badass still. But either way, this is what I intended it to be, looked at as. Now, this kind of area here, if I tried to build this, like, just from scratch, it wouldn't have worked out that way. I started with this half, and I slowly worked my way over, and this is what it became. I didn't just build it all at once, because I wouldn't have been able to come up with roads like this. I mean, look at my roads. You know what I mean? So don't feel bad. One thing I did want to do is I wanted to line my water with trees and homes. And in order to do that, you have to have roads. So one thing that I did is if you see this set of homes here, I put a chunk of road like this, and I was able to place 2 homes on the side here and then some here. And that way, this side of the water, as you can see, has homes along it. But I don't have roads running straight into the water. So that's something that you can do. I wanted bridges. Now, some of these bridges look better horizontally than vertically. For example, the Plumb Bob Bridge, that one's super expensive. It lights up at night, which looks pretty cool. I just realized my brightness is down. Wow. I'm sorry, guys. And, but these suspension bridges, they look better. I think they look better horizontally than vertically. Now, what you can do is you can place them around, see where they, where you like them, but you'll also notice that some of these buildings look better at night. So for example, like see how the Ferris wheels lit up, the Plumb Bob bridges are lit up. I really liked this when it came out, the Lantern Festival, because it kind of floats above everything. I regretted not buying it, and it took a year to come back around. So if you see a building that you like, that you think that you're going to want in your other maps when you unlock them, or you want multiple of them, I would buy as many as you want. I bought like 10 of these. These parks here, I chose to put them up front because they kind of spew water out. What else? There's, let's see. I really actually wish that a lot of these larger buildings along the back here were all, I would have preferred to have my city all mountain homes, but I'm not going to bulldoze all these gold epics. So until they allow us to store homes, I'm screwed. If SimCity, anybody that works there is watching this, you guys need to give us a better build menu, because setting up this water is the most painful task of all. You guys, if you're doing this recently, you guys are actually lucky, because the water, well, I guess you're not really lucky, but right here, these bigger bodies of water are fairly large in comparison to the puddle that you get for one damn key. Then you have this one, which is the lake. And then you have the pond, which, as you know, is 1 square and it costs 1 key. If you guys click your menu, see how it says 9 plus? You guys can store over 9 of them, okay? If you hold this down, it will actually show you how many you have in storage. It's the third one down. So I have 91 in storage. And then this I have 19. Now, as you set your water up, it's going to be a very tedious, painful task of constantly picking up your flipping water, and it's a nightmare. And I really wish that they would give us it like a separate screen that we can go into, like a build screen, and allow us to just draw the water. It would be so much easier. And then like charge us, kind of like they do in the Sims, you know, like how you build your wall or whatever, and then it says, okay, you've used $800 worth of wall, and it just takes it out. That would be so much easier. But they don't. So, yeah, you're going to have a hell of a time picking up water and trees. Now, when I line my trees, I lined the water with trees. And what I chose to do before, all I had was, like, there was only 3 kinds of trees. We didn't have these really cool looking ones. You actually have to unlock the regional maps in order to unlock these types of trees. This is exactly why I unlocked the regional maps. Okay, because I really like the, you know, pretty look, so I really wanted the trees. If it wasn't for the trees, I probably wouldn't have unlocked them as quickly as I did. But my favorite tree is the weeping willow, and this one is obtainable through the Green Valley map. The reason I like it is because it's very large. It kind of pops out, and it kind of covers up over like some of the. Okay, like right here, see next to this yellow one? It looks kind of fake and tacky when you put the water next to it, versus when you put it next to the palm trees or like the weeping willows. It kind of blends, you know, it doesn't look so tacky. One thing that is a pet peeve of mine with this game is I don't like the very fake look of the water hitting just the road, like right here. The reason that it's hitting the road here is because I have a big lake, and I can't pick up the little 2 pieces of water and put a tree there. Well, now I can because I have enough water in storage, but I have to pick this up, store it, lay down water and trees, which I will do later today. But just kind of play around with it, see what it is that you guys like. Utilize roadways when you have them. So, for example, when, as you know, I have a lot of water and trees. So I don't have a lot of time, or I would say time, I don't have a lot of space where I can put things like parks and education. Because you can, as you know, you can put the landscape items. You don't need a road. So that's what's super good about those. So utilize putting something else on the road and then bringing the trees further down the water bank. So, for example, you'll notice that along my roadways, I don't have just trees. I usually, what I'll do is I'll say, okay, I want this building here, and then, but I want trees there, but I'm going to put the trees further out. And the animals are the same way. You do not need a roadway for the animals. You won't get that annoying notification. So I have a lot of, you know, rabbit farms and bear caves and stuff along the water. So utilize your roadways, you know. As you can see, I put parks, a lot of parks there, homes. These homes, some people have asked me, how come these homes are on water? These are not homes. They are Mayor's Pass buildings. They look like homes. They were obtainable through the Mayor's Pass. And they're right here. They're called the apartments. And they actually are built on top of water. So if you're having trouble placing a building down, it might be a building that requires water. So just go, you know, read your menu, things like that. Somebody asked me, what do you do to put, what do you fill your times one spaces with? And I didn't understand what he was asking me at first, but now I do. When you're building out your city, okay, at first, you're not going to have all this really flashy, cool stuff. But what you're going to do is you're going to place, you know, like let's say you have 6 homes here. And you end up with 1 square that is empty. And you want to know what to do with that 1 square. You can place a park there, or, you know, you can try to rearrange things around to where you have 2 spaces available maybe. And that way you can place a bridge or something. But always utilize those spaces. Never leave anything empty, because that is something, you know, I don't anyway. I don't like leaving empty space on my map. As you can see, my phone is not dying. My phone's running out of space. I'm going to upload this video and then delete it. And then I'm going to continue recording the part 2 of this video, where I'm actually going to go through and show you guys my regional maps and why they're set up the way that they are, and give you guys some more design tips. So look for part 2 of this video. And on that note, I'm going to go ahead and end this.